Awesome. Awesome. Very cool. And we still got other people filtering in. So we'll keep going through some of our housekeeping. And as always, for those that are familiar with the show, or you're the flow of this, you already know the housekeeping items. But for those that are new, we'll go through those in just a second here. Before I dive into that, I'm typically the host that will kick this thing off and then hand it over to one of our presenters from the team. But today I am filling both roles. So I am pleased to be hosting and presenting this topic for you all. Thank you for being here. Before we dive into the topic, those housekeeping items. We call this thing an unwebinar. And the reason for doing so is because, well, A, someone said it on social media and I thought it was very clever. And so I stole it and used it in all of these slides now. But the idea there is that we don't want this to be a way to consume information that is just one to many. We want this to be a two-way street here, right? Where we are going to present, we're going to bring information. We want you to learn something new and helpful, hopefully. But we also want to encourage you to bring questions, to talk back, to provide experiences, to, as the second column there will show you, we want you to turn on your mic if you're, or your camera if you're comfortable with it. And if you want to ask a question, throw your hand up in Teams. We'll unmute you and let you ask it verbally, but you can also throw it in the chat or using the Q&A function, and we'll answer it there as well. But the whole point here is it's a chance for you to get to know us as human beings here at Jabra, for us to get to know you, and for you to have a real place to bring technical inquiries, ask questions, and just have some back and forth. We have other webinars that are great for disseminating information, and this is meant to be that casual, let's all get together and hang out, learn something new, and have a conversation. So that's the flow. That's the way it goes. Essentially, there are very few rules. Just get engaged in whatever way you're comfortable with here in the call. The last item there, we do giveaways every one of these things. Now, we don't do them on the actual event because we base our drawing on the attendee list. So once this thing is done and Teams generates its list of attendees, we then go and pull someone randomly, and we'll reach out to you via the email address that you provided during registration. So keep an eye out there. But we will be giving away a Speak 275 at least today, and perhaps a Panicast 20. I think some of that was still being settled on the back end. But you'll be getting a bundle of a couple different devices from us either way if you win. So keep an eye out on that email sometime not too long after the show. All right? That is, clapping. Thank you. I love clapping. That's great. Again, want this to be super interactive. So if you're comfortable, turn on those cameras, let us see your smiling faces. And if you've got a question, please feel comfortable with throwing up that hand and asking it. And we want it to be engaging. We want it to be back and forth. As much as I can ramble on and on and on, no one really likes that for too terribly long. So having other people involved is helpful. Let's move on to the actual topic today. Now, this is our first event of the year. We do these monthly. And before we get into some really big news and some other topics that are coming up in the subsequent months, we wanted to kind of do a little bit of a recapping of something that has been around for a couple months now, as well as something that literally just got released last week. And these are audio updates. For those that are longtime fans and have longtime knowledge of Jabra, we are known for premium, high-quality audio devices, right? We've got a rich heritage in audio that goes back over a long time, over 100 years. It's, the founding people have pictures in black and white. Okay, it's really old. So, but we've been doing audio really well for a long time. But lately, the last few years or so, we've been getting into the video conferencing space more and more. And that is most of our topics on these things. We're talking about video. We're educating you on how we're getting into the audio video space from a conferencing function. So when we stop and dedicate a session to just audio, it's kind of fun because it changes things up a little bit and it kind of gives you an update on where we're at with audio. So that's what we're doing today. We're talking audio. Next month, Next month, we will be talking video conferencing updates to our devices. And so before we get into to the actual meat of today's topic, I will say this QR code should take you to our registration page where you can sign up for the upcoming events. Bookmark that page, jabra.com/technically speaking. That is where you're going to be able to see what's coming up in the next couple months. Hit the register button, get it on your calendar. Also, it's where you go if you missed a session and you want to watch the playback. We put all the playbacks out on that website, jabra.com/technically speaking. So the next couple ones, next month in particular, I'm really looking forward to, because if you've been to one of these before, you know that I love to give Parker Dunbar and Michael Tressler a hard time and make fun of them wherever I can. And both of them are going to be hosting the session or presenting next month, which is a great time for me to be able to poke fun. So I'll be showing up, if for nothing else, for that purpose. But they are going to have some really great content about the updates that are coming to the video bars over the next couple weeks here. And then the session in March will be kind of back to audio again. We're going to be talking about the updates to Engage AI, our contact center agent-based software that we talked about almost a year ago now. So we're kind of getting an update on that in March. And then April is not on the website yet, but a little teaser there. We have some big news coming up next week that we'll be announcing at ISE. So watch that from afar. If you're going to be at ISE, come watch it at the booth on Tuesday. But the webinar in April, the unwebinar, will be focused in on that topic. So stay tuned there for that. Bookmark the page. Go to the QR code, bookmark that, and keep in tune with us. Okay, let's get to talking about what we're here to talk about today. Before I do that, any questions or things pop into chat yet, or that I should be aware of? There's no real content yet, so probably not, but okay. All righty.
Just nothing so far.
All right, people saying hello. I love it. Okay, so Jabra Clear Speech. This is something that came out in press releases from us back in September, and I think made its way into production either in September or into October. But this is an enhancement to the Engage AI software that exists. What I want to call out about Clear Speech, and I don't have a lot of slides on this. I don't want to overdo it on SlideWare today. I'm going to get through Clear Speech relatively quickly, and then we're going to move on to the demo-y part of the session. But what I want to talk about with Clear Speech is that this is something that goes beyond the idea of simply noise cancellation on a headset, right? We're all familiar with what headsets can do with various levels of noise cancellation, advanced noise cancellation, and all kinds of fancy names and varying levels for how headsets approach this. What Clear Speech is, as we see in that top line there, it's an AI-driven solution that removes unwanted background noise and then enhances the actual voice being spoken. And this is particularly useful for the contact center. Okay, and the reason there, you'll kind of see in these next few points. A is that we've included it in Engage AI as a free upgrade, right? So if you're an Engage AI customer or looking to use Engage AI as a contact center business, this is now a part of that you can leverage and use, and it's great for many different reasons. And I'm not going to go deep into Engage AI or our contact center offering because, again, there's going to be a full session on that in March. Sign up for that and stay involved there. They will be talking about Clear Speech in a bit more depth there as well, I'm sure. But what it is, I'm going to skip right over the on-device control and talk about that second to last item there. Address that far-end noise issue that is beyond the agent's physical control. So what you can think about it this way. You've got agents in a call center, and you can control their audio, right? You can say, I'm going to give each of you a Jabra headset. You're going to have an Engage 40, Engage 50, whatever it is. You're going to have a great, clear, premium Jabra headset so that you're providing great audio customer service to our customers. That's controlling one side of the conversation. What you can't do is control the audio coming in to the other end of that conversation. You can't say, when someone calls in, we need to make sure they're calling in with no background noise and using a good device, a clear device, clear microphone situation. People are going to call in with crying babies in the background, with car noises in the background, from a noisy coffee shop, under all kinds of situations. And the quality of the mic they're calling in with is going to be a widely ranging variety of potentially good or bad devices. You can't control that, and therefore you can't control the quality of the audio that is being heard, not just by the agent, but by the system that now has to transcript what's being spoken. What Clear Speech does as that kind of middle piece, that Engage AI add-on, is it takes that audio coming in from the caller and does a whole bunch of really cool things to remove that background noise proactively. It's got a lot of neat algorithms that identify the particular types of noises and patterns that are not human voice, weeds them out, and then further takes the voice and enhances it so that the agent can hear that person coming through crystal clear. And per the last item there, the transcript is going to be clear as well. Now, that's important for a couple reasons. In a contact center, you need accuracy to know what's being said because, hey, someone's going to end up going and saying, hey, I need to follow up on this conversation you have with the customer. Let's see what was said there and go through that. If the transcript isn't very clear, that's already going to be a faulty historical record to review. But going beyond that, beyond the coaching, there's the whole AI solution. You think of Copilot and AI Companion with Zoom. You think of all these tools that rely on accurate transcripts to crank out tasks and data afterwards. You want accuracy there. So I'm going to pause at this moment because I see we've got a hand raised, but that's the function of what Clear Speech is. That's where it lives on the Engage AI software and what it's supposed to be doing. I'm going to unmute. Did I stop sharing? I did stop sharing. I'm going to unmute Frank here.
Yes, thank you.
There we go.
All right. Can you hear me?
I can, Frank. Thanks for joining us. What's your question?
Yeah, thank you. So, I mean, I don't really understand how this Clear Speech can help with transcription, because at least in our world, in the one I'm responsible for, the audio that goes into the transcription engine is picked up from way upstream from where the agent is, or where the headset of the agent is. So if this Clear Speech enhances the audio between the computer and the agent, then the audio that we use for transcription, that's long gone. We have long split off that audio stream way up, way upstream of that whole thing. So that cannot change any of that.
No,
I wonder in what situation really the Clear Speech can, and even if we would be recording the agent, right, this would still happen on the PBX side, not anywhere between the agent and the headset, or the headset of the agent and the PC.
Yeah, I can't go as deep into this as some of our Engage AI experts would be able to and will be able to in March, and I didn't have any of them that were able to join today, so it was just me presenting on the content. So I won't be able to get too deep into that. There are transcript capabilities on the Engage AI side itself, right? So you've got transcripts that can be captured there and worked with, along with the real-time coaching and sentiment analysis, et cetera, that's done by Engage AI. Engage AI goes well beyond this element of Clear Speech. And so like I said earlier, that's going to be a topic for March to get deeper into.
Okay, fair enough. I can understand that. So if the transcription you were talking about is part of this whole Clear Speech package, then of course it will work on that, but it won't work on any transcription that we have already in place outside of Clear Speech.
Right. The Clear Speech side, it's part of the Engage AI software. So to your point, yes, the where it's being captured elsewhere, where the transcript is being captured and used elsewhere, would be outside the purview of what Clear Speech is doing for the other functions of Engage AI and the agent on the other end of using Engage AI.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Good question, though. Good observation. And please do attend March because they will be able to get much deeper into that flow and integrations and all that stuff. So.
Yep, absolutely.
Hey, Josh, there's a question from George in the Q&A.
Uh-huh.
Will clear speech in the future, besides controlling the background voice, to perhaps interact on more functions on applications like RCC, like answering calls, for example?
Okay, I'm gonna read through really quick, and I'm not gonna be able to speak about futures of it. I could say that right now. Controlling the background voice to perhaps interact on more functions and applications. Like, okay, yeah, I don't have a definitive answer there. What I can say is in March, and I'm gonna keep saying in March when it comes to clear speech. The product owner really for clear speech is going to be the one presenting. So in terms of someone actually having the authority to give future facing statements, that would be the safest bet of who I would think you would want to present those questions to. I believe they intend to pull back the curtain a little bit in terms of looking at the future without going too deep into future roadmap plans for it. But that will definitely be the person that can help with that. Last year we had Vern Fernandez present on Engage AI, and Vern, this is what he does through and through. He's awesome at it. Had really good information there. But this time around, it won't be Vern. It'll be someone from the product side. And so that's kind of an exciting opportunity to have a guest from the product part of the organization come in and be able to share a little bit more with us. They can probably dig into some of the future facing questions a little bit. So thanks for the question, George. Sorry I couldn't reveal any more there, but I think if you join us in March, you'll probably get a little bit more insight to that question. And I think I saw a chat item come through from Doc. So that would infer that the conversation the agent will be hearing has been pre-cleared by the time it reaches their headset. Right, exactly. So you've got the Engage AI software in the middle, which is real-time. It's real-time capabilities. We're talking about when you think about the purpose of Engage AI, it is meant to be that coaching software that analyzes the sentiment, what is being relayed via voice, the tone-based analysis that is happening on the call, so that a supervisor in real time can watch what's happening, can start to see if something is going wrong. They can provide real-time feedback, try to drive the conversation in a helpful way. It gives the agent real-time coaching as well. And so it's sitting there processing this as the conversation goes on. And it makes sense that clear speech sitting at that software level would be able to then take on the task of cleaning up the audio before it actually hits the ears via the Jabra headset on the ears of the agent. So yeah, that good question there. And to that point, that middle bullet point there on device control, the Engage 40 and Engage 50 Mark II headsets both have direct controls on them for enabling, disabling clear speech and utilizing it. So going beyond just the fact that it's embedded and used in the Engage AI software, these particular headsets are perfect companions to the contact center because they've got the controls in place to actually granularly manage this capability. And I have someone saying you don't see the shared screen. Rhoda, are you seeing it right now? You are?
Yes, I am.
Anybody else not seeing it? Michelle sees it? Okay. I got a thumbs up as well. I apologize, Doc. Not sure what's happening there. It looks like you may need to rejoin possibly to get it to sync back up. Sorry for that, but yeah. And then John said, could you confirm if the Jabra Evolve 2 models and Jabra Speak 275 will include clear speech? If so, may I know their estimated time of arrival? I don't know futures in terms of whether they will have any kind of built-in controls for that, but I do believe, and I'm not going to answer with 100% certainty, I'll have to take that question offline and answer it a little bit later. I do believe clear speech capability extends beyond the Engage lineup of headsets. It's just that the controls themselves are currently only present on the Engage 40 and Engage 50 Mark II. All right. Okay. And that really kind of brings me to the end of what I wanted to share about clear speech. Wanted to make sure you are aware of the fact that it's fairly new, very much a big thing for the contact center, and that the whole idea there is we are attempting via software to solve for the bad audio that may be coming in from the far end that we can't control for the benefit of our agents and transcripts, right? That's the point of what this is, and it does a phenomenal job. As I've gone through and listened to the various sample audio inputs that I've seen out there, it does a great job of taking very noisy backgrounds and where you can barely hear the person talking because there's so much going on, and just getting rid of the noise and focusing in on that voice. It's a really good experience. It's one of those seeing is believing things. I don't have the link with me now, and I don't know if Rhoda or Kaylee or anyone is able to dig it up on the back end, but there is a Jabra Jess video where they kind of demo this and talk about it out there. So if you do have that YouTube link and can put that in there, it's a great way to go and kind of see what that should look like in practice.
I'll look for it, Josh.
Thank you, Rhoda. Okay, clear speech. The evolution of Engage AI. And before I move on to talking about the next thing, just to drive this point into the ground, please show up for March. If this was a item that was important to you and that you, I see from the questions, quite a few people have an interest here, definitely be there for March. You're going to get to talk to about as close to the source as you can when it comes to the roadmap, the building of the product, the evolution of it. So be there for that. Okay. Now, moving on. By show of raising your hand in Teams, how many people saw the news that came out last week and that I put a Did You Know video out on this week about the new ability to link two Jabra Speak 275s together? You saw that, Danny? That surprises me. That's good. That's good. Awesome. All right. We got some raised hands in there. So a good handful of you, at least a couple of you saw that. Good. And at least a couple of you didn't see that, which means I've got news to break to you today, and that is awesome. So I don't feel like I'm just repeating myself. Speak 275. For those that aren't familiar, you can kind of see it on the screen behind me right there. You see it on this slide here. And this item right here, this is the larger model of our brand new not brand new, it's newer Speak 2 series, right? The original line was our Speak series of beloved pucks, as many people have called them. And the Speak 2 has brought several new features, new capabilities, and improved algorithms, etc. The Speak 275 is the top of the line for those devices. And it's also the device that has been certified as a Microsoft Teams Rooms peripheral. So the other Speak 2s are typically geared more toward personal use cases. Certainly the Speak 275 can be a personal use case as well, but it is one of those items where you might find it used as an add-on device in a huddle space, a small room even. It's a very premium duplex audio solution for those capabilities. What we've heard from customers over time and questions we've gotten is something that I think is probably quite natural. Can I link two of them together? Can I daisy chain them in the room? And unfortunately, the answer was no for a while there. You could not do that. And that is now not the answer. The answer is now, yes, you can. You can daisy chain them wirelessly via Bluetooth. And so you can, up to two of them, you can daisy chain two at this time, wireless via Bluetooth. The cool thing about this is that not only is it wireless between the two Speak 275s in the room, but it's also wireless to the compute in the room as well. So you have, imagine you got this longer BYOD conference room, and you want a Speak 275 sitting on the table. You can now put one at that long end of the table and one down at the other end, and it's going to pick up rooms that are ideal for 12, 15 people without skipping a beat, without people talking over each other and having it cut out. This is a pure, synced up, full duplex solution that gives you completely wireless capability. So very exciting stuff. Now, there are a couple caveats I want to call out because I know the questions naturally will go in this direction. Well, the Speak 275 is a Teams Room certified peripheral. The linking capability is not a Teams certified solution, right? This is not something that is a certified on the Teams end. There isn't a place really for that. So when you think about the use case for this, this is going to fit more into the BYOD types of rooms. Even when you think about, well, what if I have a Panicast 50 in the room or a Panicast 50 VBS? Can I link two of these up and use it alongside that? And the answer there is it is not designed that way, right? There are a lot of great video modes, intelligent video modes on the Panicast 50 and the Panicast 50 VBS. And a lot of those modes rely on the audio that is on board the bars themselves, the onboard mic array there. That does not extend out to the Speak 275, either as an individual device or as a a linked up device pair. So this is really targeted for a BYOD room because this is where you're bringing in your own compute. I'm walking in with the laptop, even if it's Teams or Zoom, or maybe it's WebEx or RingCentral, you name it, one of the other providers out there. You walk in with your laptop, and you now can have a wireless extended solution, a larger room BYOD solution. The whole premise here for this is that you get more audio coverage for the room. You get deeper into that room. You can go past the typical medium room size that our solutions have targeted so far, and you increase voice pickup. A couple other things that I want to call out about this. There's a few questions on here that are kind of typical before I go into a demo of this. Does the linking between two of these persist through a reboot? Okay, so now we're saying, great, I link two devices. Now I turn one off or I reboot one. When it comes back on, do I have to relink them? No, you do not. They will sync back up. Once you've linked them, they will stay linked until you have purposely unlinked them. So that's great. Doesn't matter if you lose power, one of them dies on, you don't have it charged, etc. You turn it off. They're going to link back up. So there's kind of an intelligence there built in. This is going to be a great thing if you have two that are going to be assigned to a particular room and they're not meant to be moving around. You kind of want them to stay linked up regardless of their current power situation. Does the linking solution also work with a dongle or Bluetooth? Going back to the truly, completely wireless nature of the solution, that is a resounding yes. The Speak 275 ships with a USB dongle. Okay, you got one of these handy little fellas that it ships with. And all you need to do once you've paired the two together is plug in one dongle to one of the devices, and then you will be, your linked pair will be connected into the compute via that USB dongle. So you don't have to connect both of them to the same compute, just one of them, and the fully synced and synchronized solution comes through on the compute. How can someone unlink the two devices? So as I mentioned a minute ago, you can unlink them. There is a brand new little lit up LED button that I'll show you in a second. That little LED button is what you use to link them and to press it when they're linked to see if they're currently linked to anything at all. But that button is also what you would use to unlink them. By holding the button down for 8 seconds, you will unlink that device from the pair. Can you see the linked device information in Jabra Direct? What you can see is that it is, when you go look at these devices in Jabra Direct or headsets or whatever, you can see what devices it's paired with. And then you can remove that device or disconnect it or whatever. You will see the device there as being a connected device, but there is no semblance of a linked relationship to be had in the Jabra Direct software, okay? What room sizes does this cover? Now, this is actually targeting a little bit larger spaces. So we're saying up to around 12 people is where you're kind of hitting that sweet spot. Will this work together with the Panicast series? I already kind of talked about this earlier, but just to reiterate, it is not designed to work together with the Panicast 50 series. It is, again, the Panicast 50, the VBS, they have a built-in microarray, and the onboard intelligent video modes rely on that microarray to do certain things. This is not part of that equation. Can I link a Jabra Speak 275 with a Jabra Speak 255? Again, I mentioned there are 3 different Speak 2 models. This is the top line. It needs another Speak 275 to link. You cannot link it with the lower end models. Okay. So there's our Q&A with all various questions that are going to be most, I think, on people's minds. Now we have some questions here. So before I go into demo, I'm going to get to some of those. No problem, Rhoda. I'm not finding the Ask Jabra Jess. I will find it after this and add it to the chat so that anyone that's in the chat can go and check that out. Okay. Chris, what happens if you have them linked and have both dongles plugged into 2 different machines? Just asking because, well, users will be users. Yes, they will. That is a great question. I don't know. I have not tried that yet, and I have not heard of anyone internally trying that and saying what happens when you do that. I will have to get back to you, Chris, on that one. We'll have to circle back around back in the chat or something and say, well, we tried it and here's what happens. But I love it, right? Because it's not just users will be users. Sometimes those of us that are true geeks at heart will see, like, how can I break this solution? Let me try. And we'll do whatever we can to push all the buttons and try all the things to see how resilient the solution is. And so that's one I'm not quite sure of, but great question. Brian, can you link 2 Speak 2s and another 2 Speak 2s having 2 dongles on a dock that would allow for 4 of them working together? They would not be working together in that case, right? It would look like you've got 2 separate audio solutions plugged in. So I can have 2 Speak 275s plugged into my laptop, and when I go into like my Teams list or something, I would have to choose between them there. This same situation, and I'm kind of saying this theoretically because I haven't tried the exact scenario, but the same situation should apply here, where you plug in one dongle that represents a linked pair. You should be able to plug in another dongle that represents a separate linked pair. The compute is still seeing it as one speaker mic option. So they wouldn't work in unison, essentially, is what we're going at there. Good question. I love the outside of the box thinking that is going on. George, can we get George unmuted? He's got a question for us. Good to see you, George. All right. Are we good? Can we unmute him?
Let me work on it. Allow mic. There you go.
All right. George, you should be good to unmute. But you still show muted.
Interesting. It says he's unmuted on my side.
Oh, I show him as muted on this side.
Something's happening with Teams this week. George?
Well, we work on that because I still, and no one else is hearing audio from him, right? I'm not hearing any audio.
No, okay. You're not the only one.
Well, we work on that. Another question from Dale. Do we have a date for Jabra Plus for audio? I'm not entirely sure on the exact nature of this question, Dale, but what I will say there is managing personal peripherals in Jabra Plus is possible currently. That came out, I believe, if it wasn't at the very end of the year, it was right at the very beginning of this year. But currently, the personal device management in Jabra Plus is now enabled. And are you asking for GA of personal peripherals? That should be GA now. That should be, it's out there. If you have Jabra Plus ready and working, you should have the ability to do that. And there should be guides out there as well for enrolling devices and using them that way. Now, there is going to be updated client-side software later in the year to make a more robust complete story there. But from the IT admin side, we can at least get those personal peripherals into the Jabra Plus interface to see them and manage some things. And it looks like George is unmuted now.
I'm not quite sure.
No? Okay.
Oh,
gonna
George, is that you?
I swear I can hear him. Oh,
Yeah.
no, he did it again.
Okay.
But he did say that he had some questions in the Q&A.
Yeah, okay. In the Q&A.
Here we go.
Sorry for the oddness there. Let's see. Will clear speech in the future, besides controlling the background voice to perhaps interact on more functions on applications? No, that's the Q&A from earlier.
Jorge said he placed some Q&A questions, but it seems to be lagged on our end as well.
Yeah, I only see the one Q&A question right now. There's just something funky going on with Teams and a lag or something at the moment. And I do show from our side, I unshared my device, my presentation. Sorry about that. I do show that George's mic is enabled. It's just unmuted is the deal. So I don't, not 100% sure there, but okay. Sorry for the trouble, George. Let's resume where we were at here. Okay. What would be the range between two Speak 275s linked together in terms of how far we can get them apart? I believe. So there's a couple ranges that that there are specs for. I am unfortunately uncertain on the distance that you can extend them before you break that connection. But to pair them, which we're going to show in a second, you need to have them within a half meter of each other on the table when you're setting them up. So that doesn't quite answer the question you were asking, but you think about a long table, that's kind of where you would want them to be. What I will say as well on this is that I decided to take this for a spin the other day in the personal life. I have the habit of when I grill, I kind of have a grilling ritual. Anyone else have grilling rituals? They do, because grilling is like a sacred thing to me. Anyone? Yeah, sort of. Okay, George, a little bit. Anyway, when I'm grilling, I've got a playlist that I will crank up on Pandora. It's just kind of some classy, trendy dinner type of music. And I've been playing that on a single speaker that we've had in the house for a while. And then it struck me as I started playing music the other day, oh, wait. The big problem I had always had was the speaker would sit in the house where we were doing food prep, and then I'd go outside the grill, and I would be away from the music, and I didn't want my music to be interrupted while I'm doing all the parts of it. So I'd carry the mic around, but then people in the house don't get the dinner music, and it's a problem, right? I know there are more sophisticated ways to solve for this, by the way, but I'm just saying, with one speaker, it wasn't working. And so it occurred to me, I don't have to sacrifice music in one location or the other anymore. I went and grabbed my linked Speak 275, attached it with Bluetooth to my phone, where my playlist was, left one Speak 275 on the counter in my kitchen, went outside to the patio, set the other one on the table out there where I was grilling. It was a good 20, 25 feet away at least, and there was never any skip, never any miss. It was perfectly in sync, beautiful solution. So I don't have the range there, but it is a good large room type of range. And apparently even working through doors when you don't have in the same room. So there you go. Okay,
hey,
you both speak.
Josh,
Yep.
Jorge and George are the same person. I should have known that.
Okay. Awesome.
But he sent a snapshot of the question.
Okay.
Do both Speak 275 have to be the same version to make it work? UC to UC or MS to MS, or would there be a conflict if it's not?
There should be, and I'm going to say this with 99% certainty. Okay, just a little caveat there. There should be no issue with that, with the crossing between them, because again, this isn't like a certified component of the device when it comes to Microsoft. It's part of the Speak 275 firmware. So regardless of the type you have, it's the same firmware that's being pushed to the device. So the capability is still there. You just have to make sure it's a Speak 275 and not like a 55 or something else. So good question and good call out, because there are variants, right, to that, the UC and Microsoft versions. Okay. Dale Thompson, 6 feet like the 750s is what I have luck with separating them. Okay. With the 750s. And I believe this is going to be, in my experience anyway, from my testing, I'm going well beyond 6 feet, and without any kind of miss in the audio happening on the linking. Okay, I think we're caught up. I think we were caught up on questions. I like how many questions there are. Really sorry we couldn't get the audio thing squared away, George, but I appreciate you sticking with us and getting that question through. It was a very good one. Let's shift gears. We're not shifting gears yet. Terry's got a comment here. The distance information is good to know. You could have speakers in 2 separate conference rooms or offices for the same meeting. Definitely. So we needed to make a point of following up with the actual specified spec on the distance that is allowable between the paired devices, since I do not have that information on hand. Apologies there. But it is important. It is good to know, especially for, like you said, when we're taking it into separate rooms, that can start to become a deal. Okay. So if you didn't already see my Did You Know video, and you didn't see another video out there that one of our other colleagues, Matthias, had put out there on how to do this, let's get started with doing this right now. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. And if we can then spotlight, I'll spotlight myself here. Nope, I'm already spotlighted. Thank you. Okay. So, Speak 275. Other Speak 275. Again, they need to be within a foot and a half. I'm sorry, a half meter, so about a foot and a half, to be close enough to detect each other for pairing. So what we'll do here, if you can see, we've got our power button at the very top. It's kind of faded in there a little bit. I'm going to hold that down, turn it on. We see it come to life. Okay. Once it comes to life, we've got this new, where are we at? New little blinking green light up top. That is new, and that indicates that we are going to allow for pairing. We are ready to pair if we set it up. We'll take our second device. Okay, we'll turn it on, and it's going to do the same thing. It's going to come on, and it'll have a blinking green light. Now, with it nearby, not putting it too far, I'll kind of press that green light for a second. It's hard from this angle to see what I'm doing. And did I make it go away?
It did. It went away. You were pressing it.
Sorry about that. Let me turn this one back off and back on, because I think I pushed something incorrect there. I have my fingers at the wrong place on the device. Okay, so I'm going to... Come on. Now, I don't know if you heard that. It said linking to another Jabra device. I was holding it close to the camera instead of close to the mic. But it says linking to another Jabra device. That lets you know you're ready to go. And then with it circling green like that, you'll just go to the the next one. The light went away on me on this because I waited too long. You'll go to the next one. And with the green light flashing, once it turns on here, I'm not timing this right because I'm talking too much while doing it. It said linking canceled, which it was too far from the mic to hear that. So I'm gonna. Okay.
Linking to another Jabra device.
Did you hear
There
that?
you
That
go,
time?
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now with the other one, it starts doing that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Devices linked.
Yay!
Then once it's done, they both have solid green LEDs at first. They say devices linked. And now we've got 2 devices fully synced up together, all working together. If I were to, if I had audio playing through these now, I could volume up, volume down on one device. You'll see the exact same call controls happen on the other device. It stays synced up, which is awesome for music as well as in the conference room, right? If you're unsure about whether a device is actually linked or not, you can just press that green button once again.
One device linked.
Lets you know that it has a device linked. Yep. Same thing on the other one.
One device linked.
And then to unlink them if you need to, because you're going to, break up the pair, use the other one somewhere else, your room sizes are changing, etc. You would just hold down that green LED for 8 seconds and it will unlink it. But at this stage, you could now take that Bluetooth dongle, plug it into your laptop or whatever the compute is in the room that you are using this for in your BYOD scenario, and you're off to the races. You are now using both these speakers placed at opposite ends of the table, and you've got a fuller, deeper room, better voice pickup. And I don't know if any of you have had a few of you have had the chance to hear these in person, but if you're using it for any kind of audio purposes, for music and beyond, that is really premium audio. I mean, for being a small device like this, the bass thumps, it is crystal clear. And there is not a beat skipped when they are synced together. It is truly a fully synced, really clear experience. So that is the brief, quick demo when you're not me fidgeting on camera trying to do it. That is a quick demo of what it should be like and how easy and simple it should be to simply pair them together. And again, you shut one off, you shut both off. As soon as they both turn back on, they will sync back up. Matter of fact, we could show that right now. I'm going to hold one, turn it off. I don't know if you heard that. It said link lost, but now I will turn it back on.
Devices linked.
And back to devices linked again. So restarting them, turning them on and off, they stay synced. It is a semi-permanent linking solution that gives you that flexibility. Now, it can be fully wireless, but of course, the Speak 275s do have the USB-A with USB-C both on board. So if you want to connect to your computer that way, you can do it as well. They'll just stay wirelessly synced between each other at that point. And that concludes the demo of today. Easy one. I like it when our life is made easy by technology. So it's just us to get in the way and screw things up. So there it is. Okay. Do we have any other? Okay, we have a question.
We have one
here.
more question. Yep.
Okay. And what do we have? Can you pair via Bluetooth to a laptop or device without having to use the dongle? Things like those tend to walk off and out of the conference rooms. It's exactly they do. Yes, you can. I don't know if there are limitations that could get in the way at some point, but my experience there is that's exactly what example I gave of the dinner the other night, the grilling out ritual, as I called it. I connected to my phone over Bluetooth. No dongle involved. It was just Bluetooth. Actually, I take that back. No, I am wrong. I plugged in with USB-C on the iPhone, so I did not have that experience. Yeah, and I actually, sorry, I'm getting a call in there. If I look at a Q&A, I think I was speaking incorrectly because I think what someone shared with me earlier today was that you could not have a secondary device paired via Bluetooth. Let me look in the notes really quick on that just to make sure. I don't want to give wrong information. Okay, normally, a Speak 275 device can have 2 Bluetooth devices connected simultaneously. When linked with another Speak 275, only one Bluetooth device can be connected at a time. Pair multiple devices if needed. So, yeah, that's where, yeah, you would if it is paired with the other Speak 275, then you've got the Bluetooth dongle, and so you'd have to. I don't believe it can take that secondary Bluetooth connection at that point. Native Bluetooth, not dongle, right? So, yeah. I'm looking at this list to make sure there's anything else I should call out. Here's one thing to call from a manageability perspective as well. They are linked for audio purposes, but it is not possible to upgrade the firmware of a linked device via the host device, right? So might be looking at a linked Speak 275 in Jabra Direct, and I can update its firmware in Jabra Direct, but I cannot update the firmware of the other Speak 275 that it is linked to. So another good caveat to be aware of from the management side of things. Okay. Do we have any other calls or any other? I don't think that's it for
Not
the
at
moment.
this time. Mhm.
But that's okay. We've had a lot of really good questions, and I've been semi-helpful in answering them. And we owe a couple of follow-ups to a couple of people here, so we'll get that going. But really appreciate the interaction today. Those of you that came on and smiled at me, I appreciate it. Yeah, if there are other questions that come up, please don't hesitate to bring them to us. Please don't miss the March session on Engage AI to dig much deeper into clear speech. That is going to be, Andreas is going to be the man to lead you through that with all the info and hopefully some forward-facing commentary as well. But any more questions about this stuff that come up, you can always find me on LinkedIn. Hit us up at the channels that you're familiar with there at Jabra. We're all happy to help in whatever way we can and get you the extra information. And I will put in the chat here the answer to the other questions I didn't have once I dig those up, as well as a link to that Jabra Jest demo for clear speech. Thank you all for being here. Much appreciated. Keep an eye on those emails, okay? Someone's going to get some really cool gear, including one of those Speak 275s. So thank you. And if you're going to be at ISC next week, we'll see you there. Come say hi at the booth. If not, watch out for a really big announcement for small spaces happening on Tuesday. Going to be a good start to the year with Jabra, y'all. Thank you.